GSL is finally here. I have not cast in almost a year for GSL. The last StarCraft 2 casting I did was for the Esports World Cup, which was also, that was what, like 10 months ago. And I've had people asking me for a long time, is GSL coming back? Is it canceled? If it comes back, what form will it be in? And the truth is, for most of this time, I didn't really know, because if you've been following some of the previous videos I've made on this YouTube channel, or if you followed previous, or just kind of news about StarCraft in general, it's been one of the weirdest times for StarCraft 2, I think, in the game's entire history. StarCraft 2 was only just recently the final game to be confirmed for the Esports World Cup, which basically stopped all the tournaments that would have been happening throughout the whole year from occurring. It's very common, not just in StarCraft 2, but in esports titles in general. You have a series of maybe 9 to 10, sometimes 8 months of competitive tournaments going on throughout the year all over the world. And those all lead up to one crowning championship tournament that sort of ends the whole year. We know who's the best player. And then pro gamers, casters, team owners, tournament organizers, they all take some time off. They go, go see family. And usually that's around the end of the year. So, December, we tend to not have any kind of major tournaments. But GSL, while it is a very unique tournament with a very special history in StarCraft 2, it is still one of these tournaments that is a filter mechanism into, in this case now, the Esports World Cup. Before we had BlizzCon, Blizzard doesn't support StarCraft 2 in the same way, and so EFG, which is owned by the Saudis, are now the people running it. But anyways, we didn't have any announcements for a long time. I honestly didn't know if we were going to have any StarCraft 2 at all for this year. So that's been announced. Shortly after that, the GSL had to be announced. We're going to go over this real quick here, but a couple things I want to point out. Some obvious and I think pretty understandable questions are like, why is, because this GSL is going to be back-to-back. We're going to start the season and end it this month, and then start the next one and end it this month. GSL has shrunk in scope and size, so it is now a 5-day tournament, sadly. So we have 2 seasons of 5 days before the Esports World Cup comes. Esports World Cup's going to be somewhere deep into the summer, and so they need to bang out these 2 tournaments like right away. Is GSL going to be the only pathway to the EWC? Chat asks. No, there's going to be several, I think, different online tournaments. I'm not going to cover that in this video as much, but, GSL is one of the last major, in some ways, kind of the last major live event thing for StarCraft 2, where, we're going to have it professionally produced and put all together. I did make a Patreon for the RSL, which is a new seasonal StarCraft 2 tournament that I'm going to be running. That'll start pretty much right when GSL ends, and we'll be running that after the Saudi Esports World Cup is done. We're going to try to do something on a higher professional level that'll look good. You can check out the Patreon for that. That's patreon.com/ReviveSC2. But anyways, this is really about the GSL and what I wanted to talk about here in the season. Real quick here, the article states, where's my mouse? There we go. The Global StarCraft 2 League is back after an 11-month hiatus, starting its comeback with the Code S Season 1 qualifiers. The stakes were considerably raised from 2024 due to Code S being contracted down to 12 players, as well as the format being changed to give beneficial seeding to the top finishers in the qualifiers. In addition, several international players traveled to Korea to participate, further raising the intensity of the competition. Up here into who's made it, we've got actually a kind of, I guess, when I initially look at this, I think, oh my God, it's only got 3 Zergs, but it only has 12 players. So our lineup is Classic, Hero, Nightmare, SOS, and Trigger for Protoss. For Terran, Byun, Gumiho, Kyr, and Maro, so kind of your bread and butter Terrans there for Korea. And then for Zerg, we've got Raynor, Rogue, and Solar. It's important to remember that the GSL is a tournament you have to be at in person to participate. I'm sure for most of you, the player that caught your eye was Raynor. Raynor is living in Korea right now. He lives like 3 subway stops away from my house. He's been really enjoying it here. And I think for him, the GSL has been a tournament he's really kind of wanted to win. It's been so dominated by Koreans for basically its entirety, despite the fact that I think Europeans are as formidable as Koreans are. So that's really cool to see Raynor here. I think he's got a real shot at doing it. Trigger is, he's this young Canadian kid. I think if you don't follow like a lot of StarCraft 2, which I know we have people that watch like literally StarCraft 2 tournaments every day that come by this YouTube channel. And then we have people that, they try to show up when the biggest, most important matches are, and they don't know some of these newer players. But Trigger is a very good young player. Not only very talented at StarCraft 2, but also like great at battle aces and a lot of these other new RTS games. So he showed a lot of promise. Generally, when you get an RTS game as old as StarCraft 2, there's like a couple mainstay players that manage to eat the lion's share of the prize pool and dominate a lot of the headlines for major tournaments. But then you have these players who are newer. Nobody's brand new in StarCraft 2 because StarCraft takes so long to actually get good at. But Trigger is, in this case, I'd say a fresh face here for the GSL. So it's really exciting to see him here now. And then a lot of the Korean players, look, it's a GSL. These are guys you've been watching for over a decade now. So we're going to go to the groups. Now, the format has changed because it is it's only 12 players. So what they do is they make one layer at the bottom with 2 groups of 8 players. And then the players that survive the Group A and Group B, they move into another group that goes right there. And then the people that survive that group on each side, the 2 players, gives us the Final 4 as well as the Grand Finals, which will all be on one day. So that's how we're going to comprise the tournament. If you want to see StarCraft 2, I would highly recommend that you... well, actually, I'll get to that in a second, tickets and stuff like that. So just looking at the groups. Oh, I forgot to mention this. So SOS is back. That was exciting. SOS was someone who had, I guess we could say he had retired on some level. I think that with the state of StarCraft 2, I think he thought, why not just come back? He's actually been playing a decent amount of StarCraft 1. But, with the certainty of StarCraft 2's future not being so clear, I think he decided to come back. And, we see this occasionally with players who retired or aren't that active, is even if they don't play a ton, they're still one of the best players in the world, so they can kind of show up and make it work. SOS has probably been my favorite RTS player of all time in all the StarCrafts. I think he's just been... I've learned so much from watching him play, and from his early days up until he, had stepped back from the game, he always showed this, real brilliance in how he approached the game and made some of the most unique and memorable games that I ever got to cast. So that's really cool to see him here. Group A is looking pretty scary. I won't lie, I really want Raynor to get out of this group. I think that would be pretty hype. It would be really special to see him, get deep in this GSL, and I think he's in shape to possibly do it. Cure, though, is going to be a major threat. Cure is always just solid. He is not really deteriorated in skill at all. He's been pretty committed to the game through and through. So Cure, I think, might be the guy that gets out first. SOS, look, I think he could definitely do it, but it's hard to say with, how strong these players are. And he hasn't played for a while, by the way, in any meaningful way for StarCraft 2 for a competition like GSL. Solar is a solid. He could make it. He could not make it. I would put him kind of right in the middle. I know it's 4 players, so it's impossible to have somebody exactly in the middle here, but it could go either way for him. He's been in good shape. Going into Group B, Maru, Trigger, Rogue, and Nightmare. Now, I would say this is a pretty top-heavy group. I think Maru is supposed to just move out. Maru seems to perform extremely well in the Star League format, in this kind of seasonal, paced-out system versus these marathon tournaments that maybe last 2 to 5 days. And Rogue is someone you never want to count out. I don't know if Rogue is necessarily going to be in the same shape he's been in many of the other seasons we've seen, where he, at certain times looks like he was, at periods of time, the best Zerg in the world, sometimes the best player in the world. So Trigger and Nightmare are going to be kind of the odd guys out. For Group A and Group B, we have a series of players all sitting at the top, waiting for the players who will advance from the lower Group A and Group B into the upper Group A and Group B to make it into the round of 8. That's going to be Byun and Hero and Classic and Gumiho. And I don't want to speculate too much about how the players from the lower bracket will do for the players in the versus the players in the upper bracket. There's too many variables and too many possibilities. But again, these 4 players, you know them, especially if you've been watching Korean StarCraft for a long time. Beyond Classic, Hero, and Gumiho are going to be there. And then again, for the finals, it's going to be round of 4 as well as the finals. So if you want to come see StarCraft 2 live, it's going to be happening quick. And then I think we have like a week or 2 off, and we're right back to it. The dates for that, it's going to be Wednesday the 7th and Thursday the 7th of this week. So the 7th and the 8th. Sorry, that's when I say Wednesday. It's what I meant to say is the 7th and the 8th of this month, excuse me, on a Wednesday and a Thursday. And then the following week, it'll be on the 14th to 15th, and the finals will be on the 16th. That will be on a Friday. I saw someone asking, will this be streamed on YouTube or Twitch? No. This is why I'm a little bit excited to do RSL, because that'll be on my channel. But they very much, and look, they are a streaming platform, okay? So they're incentivized to try to bring people on top of their streaming platform. So that's why that is the way it is. And then after this season's done, we will have one more season. And then it'll be very close to time for everybody to go to Riyadh and start to compete for the World Championships, which they haven't invited any StarCraft casters there yet, but I would assume I'm going. I mean, I've been there the last 2 times. I don't see why I wouldn't have done it, or won't be doing it this time around. And that should be fun. That event's been pretty epic and big to do. I do want to point out we don't know what the future of the GSL is after we finish this Esports World Cup. I'm not sure. I don't know if they want to do another season or 2 for the next year or not, or more or less. I have no idea. The truth is I've, had such little work for StarCraft 2 because of this logjam here with the Esports World Cup that I don't even know. I've barely talked to the company right now for this, so I'll be finding out more about that when I'm down at the studio to talk to them. Anyways, I'm excited to come back and do this. This is the oldest esport tournament, longest lasting, I should say, esport tournament in the world now. Still going on, still going strong, still going uninterrupted. And hopefully we never have a hiccup like this again, where everything gets slowed down. I don't think it's possible to, but, it's going to be an interesting future here. There are a bunch of crowdfunding tournaments. I have one for the RSL. I have a Patreon for that, but we also have them for other tournaments. Pig and Wardy have their own as well. So I would take a look at those tournaments, see what you like and what you're feeling. And if you want to financially support the scene, I think that's the way to do it. StarCraft 1 is a game that has been basically supported by its own audience forever now and does fine. StarCraft 2 was historically supported entirely by Blizzard, but then also by ESL, which is now known as EFG, which are the people that run the Esports World Cup, and that's going away. Blizzard's gone, and now they're gone. So it doesn't mean that StarCraft 2 has to die or that the tournaments have to go away, but if they're going to be in some kind of form that's going to be competitive where players can play and win money, it's going to be crowdfunded. So definitely check that out. And I don't know, I'm glad to be back. I'm excited, State and me. We haven't casted together in a while, but I think we'll hop right back in the... I think it'll be like riding a bike. We'll if we haven't done it for a while, we'll be right back on it, and it'll be natural. Thank you so much for watching. Please go to tastelessthreads.com. That's my merch site. We've got a bunch of cool RTS and gaming-related stuff there. Leave me a comment. Are you excited for the return of GSL? Are you bummed out it's short, but maybe just happy that at least it's here? What do you think StarCraft 2 is going to look like once the Esports World Cup is done for this year? All comments are welcome. And you can always join me on my Twitch channel where I record this content live at twitch.tv/tastelesstv. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.